If you still think that geopolitical chaos can kill Bitcoin, you are mistaken, my friend. Well, I mean, at least for now. Let's look at the facts. So, the United States seized an Iranian ship over the weekend. Tehran regained control of the Strait of Hormuz. Trump has threatened to destroy all power plants and bridges in Iran. And you know what? Bitcoin has held at $75,000 and it is now trading at 76. This is the fourth major escalation that crypto market is experiencing relatively calm. Oil is jumping, stocks are failing, and Bitcoin is just standing still and preparing to take off. Meanwhile, Michael Saylor made the largest Bitcoin purchase in Strategy's whole history. Analysts predict a price of $100,000. And for the third, I will tell you how scammers began to profit from the panic around Hormuz. And in general, we have a lot to discuss. Please like and subscribe, and let's get started. So let's start with the main thing. The price of Bitcoin is about $75,000, which is minus 0.2% for the day, but plus 6.3% for the week. Ethereum fell by 1% to $2,300, and the volume of liquidations reached 419 million per day. And the traditional sector reacted more sharply. Brent crude added 5%, up to $95. European indices opened in red, and gold rose to $4,791 per ounce. And Bitcoin is just standing tall. The market seems to have already priced in all the risks. As QCP analysts say, investors are no longer assessing the intensity of the conflict, but its duration. And the protracted war, periodic disruptions in the strait, and the rhetorics of politicians, all this is already priced in. And what do the numbers say? Bitcoin has gained foothold above the realized price of short-term holders, those who entered the market from 1 week to a month ago. And their break-even point is about $69,400, and this helps to restore confidence among the newbies. Bitcoin is currently testing the realized price of holders from 1 to 3 months, approximately $74,900, and these poor guys, they suffered the most from the correction that began in October. They have already touched their break-even point once in January, and now for the second test. The main question is, will they hold their positions or will they just start selling? If the level is passed, the pressure from short-term investors will weaken, and the next target is the cost of the earlier group of $92,000. And by the way, Bitcoin has formed a new price gap on the CME exchange at the level of $77,400. And since the fourth quarter, the first cryptocurrency has closed 90% of such gaps within a week. And if the pattern repeats, the volume of liquidation of short positions will amount to $1.6 billion. Against this background, Michael van de Pope, founder of MN Trading, made a bold prediction. He stated that Bitcoin will update its historical maximum within 12 months. And his reasoning is that after deep corrections, the asset price usually rises by 30 to 60% in 6 months. And if this trend continues, the exchange rate will reach $100,000 in the third quarter of 2026. He also pointed to the weak dynamic of gold. Despite the escalation, gold does not show pronounced flight into defensive instruments, and this indirectly supports Bitcoin. In general, I'm once again convinced that now is probably the best time of 2026 to enter this spot. And against this background, as usual, I will remind you about the sponsor of the channel, OKX. OKX is the most transparent and convenient crypto exchange in my opinion. So if you want to buy and trade cryptocurrencies and also support my channel, there is a link with welcome bonuses in the description box down below. And now perhaps the main news of the day. Strategy bought 34,164 Bitcoins for $2.54 billion, and the average price is $74,450 per coin. And this is the largest one-time purchase of the company's history, not in a week, not in a month, just all at once. Strategy now has 815,061 Bitcoin, and this is 3.88% of the total supply. The value of the portfolio is now $59.4 billion, and the average entry price is $75,457. Sailor doesn't just buy the dip, he buys everything he can. While the market is afraid of war, he fills his pockets up. While the whales are locking profits, he takes away the liquidity. And while analysts are arguing about corrections, he's dragging Bitcoin on his back. And in short, Michael Saylor is just a wild type. Now for the regulatory news, and it is no fun. Senator Tom Tillis said that the Senate Banking Committee is unlikely to consider the Clarity Act bill in April, and the discussion is postponed to May. The main obstacle is the regulation on the rewards for storing stablecoins. Banks are afraid that high revenues from stablecoins will just lead to an outflow of deposits from traditional institutions. And crypto companies, on the contrary, oppose the restrictions, calling them a threat to innovation. So the bill should delineate the powers of the SEC and the CFTC, as well as determine the status of digital assets. But until the banks and crypto come to an agreement, the Clarity Act will remain in limbo. So basically, 70 million American owners of cryptocurrencies continue to wait for clarity. And the latest news in criminal world, with a touch of absurdity, just how we like it. The Greek maritime risk management company Marxis has warned of a new fraud scheme. Unknown persons pose as the Iranian authorities and send letters to shipping companies, and the text is as follows: provide the verification documents, pay the fee in Bitcoin or USDT, and we guarantee safe passage through the Strait of Hormuz. At least one vessel has already become a victim of the fraud, and they tried to leave the strait on April 18th, but of course came under fire. Officially, Iran has not yet introduced any Bitcoin fees, although, would they plan to? We talked about it, but analysts previously called this idea practically impossible due to sanctions and the transparency of the blockchain. But the scammers, they do not care, they just using panic and uncertainty right now. The next meeting of representatives of the United States and Iran is scheduled for April 22nd, and that is for tomorrow. But the situation remains unstable, the threats continue, and the scammers are already making money from the state of no peace, no war. Well, that's it for today. Link to OKX is in the description box down below. Subscribe, click on that notification bell, and I will see you tomorrow. Bye.